r/askreddit, gentlemen, what are your tricks for lasting longer in bed? I think of baked beans on toast. I think of polar bears eating a seal. Not sure why I went with this imagery, but it works. WTF is a pelvic floor muscle. I try not to squeeze myself too tight with my hand, and switch hands depending on how I feel. The most realistic comment here. What an edgelord. Counterpoint, just the right amount of death grip in your solo time and you can last forever during sex. Turn off the alarm clock. Dad, get off Reddit. I can sleep so long, I sleep right through 6 alarms per day. Ain't many guys that can outlast me in bed. Getting really old work for me. Step 2, pass out drunk. Make her come first. During daylight savings change in spring, I lasted over 61 minutes. This. Lots of foreplay first. Then make sure she is completely satisfied by any means necessary. The actual penetration is just the third act and not the whole show. The length of time won't matter as much. There are women that much prefer just sex vs oral. So yeah, still important to last depending on what your partner likes. This is the one. Your orgasm is tied to your breathing. If you pay attention to your breathing, you will hold your breath more as you near orgasm. If you keep your breath steady and deep, you will last virtually as long as you want. I read about this a book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man years ago. This breathing tip should be the top post every time this question is posted. If you feel you're approaching the point of no return, stop and go down on your partner. Flick yourself in the nuts. Good thing Op didn't ask for tricks to staying hard. Start a regimen of antidepressant medication. Does it affect your ability to get an erection? Short pauses. SHHHH, I saw this in porn. It's called buffering. Think of Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. I think you misunderstood the question. He's trying not to come. Yeah, Bobby. Round 2. Literally finish up round 1 and then wait for it to recharge, and you can go as long as you want round 2. Bro, my recharge talk is like 5 to 7 business days, unless I'm jacking off. Exactly what I just said. Round 1 is a freebie small talk until you're recharged and you're good. Yeah, that helps. But when you are younger, the sweet spot for time when having sex is 15 minutes, a number of studies have shown this. If you are struggling to make that, think of your grandmother. That always helped me speed things along. Monkeys in a tree. Work 60% of the time, every time. UUUUUAAAAHMONKEYSINATREE comes even more, massively. There isn't any trick for me. I, 39M, take anywhere from 10 to 20 seconds. Hell, if my wife has gotten me hot enough, simply being in her, without moving, will make me lose it. But I make up for it with my fingers and my cunning linguistics. I'm like this, but I always can do it again, and second time is much longer. Zoloft. The trick is to stretch the foreplay. Use your hands and mouth more in the beginning. Your guy should be used only in the end when she at the top of her arousal. And before all that, masturbate so that you won't get too excited right after you start pumping. Deleted. Under the bridge downtown is where I drew some blood. Switching positions, foreplay for breaks. Drugs if you are cool with using drugs. Specifically. No shit. I get tired and wore out before I finish. Shit's exhausting. I find if I prep my meals the night before and lay out my clothes for the day, I can last about an extra 20 minutes and still be on time for work. The reverse is my problem. That sucks, is that in all positions. We have some positions where I last plenty long enough, sometimes too long, but then we have a couple finisher positions where I can barely last 2 seconds. Get old. I should have never gone to the beach. That makes you old. As a woman, I'd say take short breaks, get me off first and / or learn ruined orgasm. You'll come with no release. You'll stay hard and keep going. Dude, I've been using this strategy for the past 10 plus years and never knew there was a word for it. I always think of Congress and our national debt ceiling, to stop the orgasm. Rub one out in the morning before the deed and always prioritize her first. If your partner isn't a complete ass, she will return the favor after her climax. Breathing is big. Multiplying by a number, usually 13's table. Stopping and going down on her every while. Thinking of grandma or religion, or my religious grandma. I too have an advanced case of the olds. That last sentence though. Practice daily. Being on SSRIs. Deleted. I don't know why, but even into my mid-40s, if I'm drinking and decide to engage in a bit of romance, a reasonable amount of gin seems to keep things going for me. If this kid is at grandma's for the night, and I've had 2 martinis, the MRS knows she's getting a few hours of fun. Takes away sensitivity. Don't mank to porn anymore. For me that made sex last longer with real women and multiple women. However, I also don't enjoy sex as much compared to when I would think about it daily and watch porn. So probably don't watch porn from the beginning is good advice. Jerk off before, so you don't really care. Before the date. 2005 NLCS. Cardinals at Astros. Either Game 5 or Game 6. Bottom of the 9th, Albert Pujols hits a walk-off home run that I think hit the back wall of the Astrodome building. I try to practice edging I fuck to almost coming, then I slip down and eat her out and finger her until the orgasmic build-up dies down and then go back for more fucking. Sometimes I can go for ages, sometimes I time it wrong and ejaculate on the sheet or whatever. The trick is to hold your body high so your cock don't touch anything if you time it too late. If done right you can last a long time to finally explode in an awesome orgasm with a huge impressive load. Lots of foreplay, fingering and oral, and then when you're actually penetrating flex your pelvic floor muscles. I also think of elephants and it helps keep me from getting overly excited. Childhood sexual trauma worked for me, but I don't recommend it. Warm up first. Play around, foreplay, build things up a bit, then relax and enjoy the ride. Sounds like you really don't like elephants. Doesn't flexing pelvic floor muscles make you finish quicker?